So proteins, should you take them? Is it going to make you go bald? And does it give you acne?
Supplements. Which ones do you actually need? We're going to go deep, but not too deep. Same way you try and convince your other half to do that thing they won't want to do. That deep. So from all of these, let's start off. Which ones do you actually need? Well, that many. Yeah. No. You trust me? You trust me? Yeah, you're okay. Anybody of any decency, of any integrity will tell you, supplements are exactly what their names suggest. A supplement to an already consistent and monitored lifestyle. Supplements are not the answer, they are the add-on to an already developed lifestyle. The way you want to look is determined by your lifestyle and how you set that up towards hitting those goals. Now, our food is our base foundation. It's the most important thing. Our protein, our carbs, and our fats. What are we taking on a daily basis? What calorie levels is that putting us into? And how does that balance up with how we want to look, where we're at the moment, body composition? That's when supplements can come into play and help you optimize your body's performance and optimize the ability for you to hit daily targets for food, nutrients, minerals, that's going to help you get towards those goals. So the basis, food, exercise, consistency, then supplements. Because let me tell you now, you start taking a ton of supplements and doing shit all else, shit all's going to happen. And that's not the supplement's fault. It's your fault. Protein powders. Number one, if you're young kids and you're watching this, go get your mum, go get your dad, bring them in. Not drugs. Basically, optimized powdered food. Protein powders are designed to help you hit your protein requirements on a daily basis more easily. Fast digesting protein in a small volume that's easy to consume and hopefully tasty if you pick one that you like. Basically, it's a meal in a scoop, kind of. It's a protein meal in a scoop. It's a low carb, low fat protein meal in a scoop. This can be a minefield because there are a ton of proteins on the market. Because there's a ton of them on the market, you can read until the day's end about all the different types. We've got concentrate, isolate, hydrolyzed, casein. Then we've got all the new vegan variants out there now. Hemp, pea, soy. Here's the thing. If you're looking at whey proteins and you're not lactose intolerant, willing to eat dairy, whey protein is a solid one to get. Just find one that you like the taste of and go with that if you're going to utilize them to hit your protein targets. So it's going to have to be something you're going to be able to stick with, texture, flavor, the whole thing. Is hydrolyzed and isolate better than concentrate? It's better in the concept that it gives you more protein per 100 grams or per 100 calories than the concentrate. The concentrate is going to be around about 80% protein, the rest of it made up of carbs and fats. And isolate is going to be 90% protein, then only 10% of the carbs and fats. But it goes through more of a process, which is more expensive, so it tends to be more costly to buy. So again, it's going to be about budget and taste. But they're both derived from the same product, the same way. So essentially, you're still going to get pretty much the same proteins and amino profiles. Digestion-wise, the concentrate is going to have a slightly higher lactose content than the isolate. If you look at this, it has around about 1 gram, whereas the concentrate tends to have around about 3.5 grams per serving of the lactose. So that could be a factor to play in if you do find you get stomach issues with it. Stomach issues, fuck. In the first week when you start drinking protein shakes, prepare to be on the toilet. It's new to the digestive system. It's going to run through you like a train and it's just going to slip and slide through your gut. But give it a week, week and a half, 2 weeks, you'll start to plateau out. Things will get back to normal. Don't worry.
If you can't have your dairies, you've got your soys. You're going to have to try them to see which ones you like. The nature of the vegan ones and vegetarian ones are slightly larger serving sizes with slightly less protein in comparison to the wheys. They're also not going to give you full amino profiles as a rule unless it's already substituted in there for you. So you're going to need to make sure that you're taking in that leucine, isoleucine and valine alongside, which could be amino acids, but we'll get into that later. I'm digging these. These are the clear wheys from my protein. They're essentially juice. This is lemon and lime. This is strawberry. Here's a super secret. If you mix these two together, tastes like jelly babies. Hey, if you want to help your boy out, these are available at myprotein.com. You can use code Lex Fitness and that will get you a percentage off even sale items, and it directly supports me as well. So if you use it, cheers. Otherwise, I hope this video helps regardless. So proteins, should you take them? Yes. I think they're a good basic foundation to have as a start of your supplement regime. And if you work it out, value for value against meat versus your time, they're actually quite good value for money long term as well. Now the rest of the things I'm going to show you now are going to be the only things that I think you need within a supplement regime. Creatine. Creatine is one of the most studied supplements that we know of. It has shown remarkable benefits from taking it at low dosages, and you can take it for long extended periods of times. You can take just 5 grams a day, long term, and that will be sufficient. It doesn't matter when you take it, as long as you take it consistently, roughly the same time each day. It builds up in your system over time, which means it doesn't work acutely. So if you've had a mate that's taken creatine and gone beast mode the first day he's taking it, it's pure placebo. It takes a couple of weeks to build up in the system, but what it's going to help you do is optimize your energy levels, help you push a little bit harder for a little bit longer, and aid in that recovery. And for that, it's brilliant bang for your buck. Is it going to make you go bald, and does it give you acne? Right, this is derived from the fact that creatine has been seen in one study back in 2009 that was shown to spike DHT levels, which is dihydrotestosterone. This is responsible for interrupting hair follicle cycles, shrinking hair follicles and causing baldness, and also it's a big derivative. Is that the right word? Derivative? It's a big factor. Big factor to do with acne, and that's because it increases the amount of sebum that we produce, which is produced by a sebaceous gland in the skin, which gives us that protection. Now, a lot of people overproduce this, clogs up the pores, causes bacterial buildup, and that's what causes acne and overproduction of sebum. That's S-E-B-U-M, not sebum, as in Bumstead. I'm sure many of you would not mind having rubbed all over you. I'd say if you suffer from acne genetically, it's already something that you're having issues with. Creatine may exacerbate that, so it might be something to consider in terms of not taking it because of that, but you can trial it. Just low dosages, definitely don't do the loading phase, and see if it does have an effect. If it does have a negative effect, just come off it. In terms of the baldness, if you're going to go bald, you're going to go bald genetically. Nothing is going to make you go bald in essence. All it's going to do is speed up processes. Now, the study that did show the increase in DHT that creatine caused was only done over about a 7 to 10 day period. And that was at excess doses of 20 grams rather than 5. So it could be argued that that study only showed an acute reaction rather than a long-term reaction. So it could have just been an initial spike in that DHT, and there have been no further studies directly towards looking at creatine in regards to hair cycles. So it's hard to say. I personally would say that is a bit of an exacerbated study, and also those DHT levels never went out of a normal range either. And if you do feel it's making it worse, then simply don't take it. But in my opinion, I honestly don't think it's going to have that much of an effect. In terms of your training though, creatine, banging. It definitely is going to improve energy, it's going to help with that recovery, and it's going to help you just push, get those extra little bit reps, a little bit more time on the cardio side of things. Value for money, it's a 10 out of 10. Next up is going to be vitamin D. Vitamin D, it's a huge one, and so many people don't get enough of it. We get it from our sunshine, we get it from going outside, but we need to be outside for a good amount of time every day in direct sunlight to get that. We tend to be out in the sun a little bit less on a consistent basis daily than we probably should be. So supplementing with vitamin D is probably a good idea. You're going to want 4,000 IUs a day to make sure that you're hitting decent levels. Vitamin D is massively responsible for helping fight disease. It has an important role in the uptake, regulation of calcium and phosphorus, which helps us have strong teeth, hair, bones. It's also responsible for upkeep of the immune system. And we know that people who suffer from COVID, a lot of them have also had a vitamin D deficiency. So it's massively important, especially right now in the world, to make sure your vitamin D is where it should be. No brainer. Vitamin D. Yes. My final one on the base list, zinc. Zinc plays a role in many factors, from immune function, collagen production, and the metabolism of carbs and protein. So as you can see where this goes, zinc is also thought to help improve energy levels because they're required by the enzymes that break down our food, which obviously we then utilize to fuel our system. So with deficiencies in zinc, you can see there's many factors that could be affected that would leave you feeling low energy. Another big one with zinc is it is a necessary factor in wound healing and cell division. So again, that's growth and recovery. But not only that, zinc also helps you be a little bit more manly. The zinc picolinate is seen in having roles in helping testicular output. Smooth. So there you go, that's it for the basis of the ones I would advise. Now the fun ones, if you want to just get involved, pre-workouts. Anything that's massively dosed with caffeine, like 300 milligrams plus, it's just going to be a big caffeine kick, dumping over having any real ingredients in there, because your caffeine, beta receptors are going to get beat up real fast, and that rush that you get from it is going to be beat down very quickly. It's also going to ruin your coffee time. Things like this, on the other hand, are just an arginine blend. Arginine is used by the body, it's broken down and creates nitric oxide. This helps relax smooth muscle. That means vasodilation. That means more blood, nutrients and oxygen to the muscle. So in theory, that should allow you to push a little bit harder for a little bit longer. It's also going to increase that pump that you feel in the gym because the blood flow is going to increase. So muscles should swell, feel tighter, and that's just a great feeling to have. Zero caffeine, arginine blends for nitric oxide, or Some with a little bit of caffeine in them, vitamin B12 kicking there for a bit of energy. Citrulline and beta-alanine blends in there. Citrulline is actually very good as well. It does the same thing as arginine, but its uptake is a little bit more efficient. Bioavailability is probably a little bit better. They do have more than a singular ingredient in there, so you have to know how your sensitivity is going to be with everything that's in there. So make sure that you're reading what's on the back, and when you take it, make sure you're dosing it accordingly. Start small and go from there. Amino acids, yeah, they're good, but I honestly think there's a time and a place for them. I don't think if you're eating in a calorie surplus and having protein shakes that you need amino acids. I think amino acids need to be saved for those times where you're in a deficit and you're dieting and you want to stop muscle wastage. They're going to help there because it's been seen that adding in the amino acids, when we're trying to make sure that protein breakdown isn't greater than protein synthesis, adding in some BCAAs to make sure that protein synthesis is upregulated is probably going to be a wise idea. Leucine, isoleucine and valine. These three we cannot get through any other way other than consumption. Our body can't produce them, so it's very important that we get these in, but they are in your protein shakes. If you're sick, and again, they can come in and help bolster immune function. So anything where you're thinking of losing muscle, you're unwell, run down, in a diet in a deficit, good idea. Outside of that, don't really need them, in my opinion, but definitely a very worthwhile and valid product. One other thing you might want to know, don't put them in your workout drink, intra-workout. It's going to give you a honky-tonk breath. Have them afterwards. Collagen. Now you're going to need wild-caught or grass-fed because then it's not going to have the essential parts of the collagen in there. There's 16 that we need, and some of them have as little as 5. It's found in our connective tissue. It's also good for our skin and our hair. It's a 10-gram dose each time. Out of a 500-gram bag like this, you're going to get 50 servings. So in terms of monetary value, it's actually pretty decent, and I covered it in my recovery video. So check that video out. That's where I show you how I've recovered a full bicep reattachment surgery in 6 weeks rather than the 6 months that they told me. In that video, I show you the full supplement regime that I used to aid that recovery and also some experimental procedures. Go watch that video now. It'll be linked here or at the end of the video, there'll be a link. So there you go. If there's anything I've missed, let me know in the comment section below. If there's any that you really like and you keep in consistently day to day, month to month, year to year, let me know and let us know why in the comment section below. And that's it. We're done. I'm out. I'll catch you in the next video. Boom, baby.